Hi folks, I wanted to do a little video for you to help you with Dreamweaver and help you a little bit with file management. The goal of this exercise is to give you something that you can watch, pause, go back, and rewatch that will hopefully alleviate some issues a couple students had, well, I should say more than a couple, a few students had with things like file management and using Dreamweaver. First thing I'm going to do is show you a little bit about file management. Now, some of you may be already comfortable with this. If so, you could skip ahead to the Dreamweaver part. But I'm going to show you how we're pulling files off of Blackboard and getting them onto your computer to work with for our exercises. And again, this is the kind of video you can pause, go back, watch a couple times on your own. Here are the files that we worked with in class on Friday. We have the Jose Batista bat flip video, the sound clip, and the JPEG file. Now, as I've tried to explain before, you just click on a file, whether it be an HTML file or a video file. In this case, it's going to open in its own window. It's going to open in its own browser window. We don't want that. If you want to save something from Blackboard onto your computer or from Google Images or from wherever you're working on the web onto your computer, you need to right-click on that file. When you do that, you're going to get an option to save link as or save target as. In most computers, or on most, I shouldn't say computers, browsers, you're going to have a window like this that allows you to designate where you're going to save that file. If you don't have this option, check your web browser settings to give that an option. The other thing you want to be aware of when saving files is what's the name of the file. In this case, it gives me this really long, annoying Batista Homer's Go Ahead 3-run shot. If you download a video file or if you download an image from a website, it might give you the name of the website, some details about the dimensions of the image. We don't want that. We want something nice and simple and easy to work with. So in this case, I've changed the name to Batflip. Now, we should also be saving this in a folder called website. This folder might be on your computer. It might be on a flash drive. Probably the flash drive is the best place to save it because then you could take it back and forth to other computer labs on campus. In this case, I'm going to create some other folders within that website folder. I'm going to create my video folder here. I'm going to create my images folder, and I'm also going to create a folder for audio, since we have that audio file that we're going to work with. I'm going to go inside the video file and put the Batflip video in there. Now I'm going to do the same with the audio file that we dealt with. Right-click, save link as. Now, this file name's okay. The issue with it, though, is that it's got a capital letter in it. And you don't want to be working with capital letters because then every time you have to name a file, you have to remember to use that capital letter. I'm going to go up one file, or one folder here, I should say, into the audio folder and save the audio in there. And then I'm going to save the picture to, you guessed it, the images folder. And if you're doing this on a flash drive for your website, it will allow you to transfer files from computer to computer, from laptop to desktop, to different labs throughout the campus. Now, I have Dreamweaver open here. What I'm going to show you in Dreamweaver is what we talked about in class on Monday. But since, I want to make sure I'm not going too fast. I want to make sure that you have enough time to pay attention to what I'm doing. I'm going to kind of go over it again in a recorded video for you can stop, go back, pause, fast forward, and use it as you see fit. Now, the first thing we have to remember about Dreamweaver is that it allows us to design not just HTML pages, but entire websites. So when we want to start with a website, for the first time when you're starting a new website, we're going to go up to Site here and click on New Site. We can really name this whatever we want. I'm just going to call mine, I'm going to call it Demo Site here, if I could spell correctly. And then the next step, which is a very important step and one we want to take a moment to pause and talk about, is choosing the destination folder. That's done right here. This is your root folder. This is the folder that has within it all the files that you're going to work with for your website. Ideally, it will be on your flash drive. I've chosen the website folder, which was right on my desktop here. And again, it has within it those three folders which I just made. I'm going to select that folder, click Save. As you can see, Dreamweaver auto-loaded those folders into my file option here. And if I opened each one of them, you would see the files which I just saved, whether they be audio, visual, or a picture. The other thing you want to be aware of, I should say, is this option up here to change your workspace setting. I would suggest working in beginner. If you get a little bit more comfortable, you might want to choose to design. You can also play around with different workspace options, but in most cases, you probably want to be in beginner. Okay? So now we have told Dreamweaver where our root folder is, probably on our flash drive, probably with some folders already in it. Our next step is to start creating web pages. We do this by clicking on File and New. And there's a couple different well, I shouldn't say couple, there's many different files we create. The two we'll be working with in this class is HTML and CSS. The first one we're going to work with is HTML. I don't really have to give it a name. I don't have to do anything else here. I just hit create. And we have our blank HTML page. We've got a little bit of code auto-generated, but if we click on the live view, we can see there's nothing there. The design view allows me to do a what you see is what you get. So I can type something here, and it will appear in the code function. I can also do a split view where I have both. And most times you want to be into either design view or code view. The first thing you want to do, though, before you even start designing or creating anything, is save that web page. Without saving it, it's not even an HTML file, it's just a temp file within Dreamweaver. You notice as soon as I open the save function, Dreamweaver has automatically put it inside the website folder. That's because when I created that new site, I told it all my files are going to be in there. So now I can rename this file. It's automatically going to save it as HTML, and you'll also see it pop up over here when we do that. See? There it is, all in the same folder. Now, what we were working with in class on Friday and kind of your homework exercise, which will be covered on tomorrow's quiz, is the creation of video links. So here's our example from class on Friday. If I want to pull a video out of the video function, I have a couple different options. I can click on this browse button, or I can type in the folder name. In this case, I'm telling it to look in video, and I'm telling it to pull out the video which I named Batflip MP4. Okay? And you can see the great thing about Dreamweaver, as soon as you hit it, it gives you a couple options of things to add. We definitely want to add the controls one. And we don't definitely, but we could add the autoplay one if we wanted to annoy visitors to our website. Hit mouse down again. And this is the great thing about coding in Dreamweaver also, is that my next instinct is to close the video tag. All I had to do was hit backslash there, and it closed it. I didn't have to hit backslash anything else. I'm going to hit refresh here. Click back to live. Oh, I named my video incorrectly. It should be MP4. I'm not sure why I did that, but it should work now. We'll go back to live mode. Whoa. And it's working, right? And it's working, hopefully. But since it's in auto mode or autoplay, it's very annoying. So we'll get rid of that autoplay. Remember, we can play around with the, we can change the height and the width if we wanted. You know, make this a 640 and make width 400. Going to make our video a lot smaller. Again, let me show you the other option that we were working with on Friday, which was the audio option. And the other way you can get audio files into your code is we're going to do audio source. And you saw this before when we did the video one. You have a browse option here. So if you don't want to type out the file path, Dreamweaver will give you an option to browse. It opens right up to our website folder. Pull off the sound there, and it automatically creates the file path. Go down here, hit controls, and close my audio tag. As soon as I do backslash, it's going to fill in the audio. Boom, nice and closed out. Go back to live, and there's my audio file. So the other thing to keep in mind about Chapter 9 here in our site is that I gave you an example of the HTML, what it should look like when it's completed. So we do the same thing there. We're going to save it to our desktop in our website folder. It's already an HTML file. And you'll notice that when we go back to Dreamweaver here, if I hit refresh, it's going to be right there. And I can go ahead and I can open that file. Oh, autoplay, you are the death of me. Autoplay. Okay, we're going to close this file here. Pause. But here's the code of what I used to create the page that you saw earlier, um, that you saw in class and that you had to work with. That file's right there. Now, what I wanted to also mention is how to manage your site. So if we're working in Dreamweaver after we've built our site, after we've started it, we're going to want to go back in and open it again. So let me show you how to do that. In that case, we're going to click on Site here. Excuse me. We're going to click on Site. We're going to hit Manage Sites this time. And we're going to hit Import Site. Now you can see my sites are listed here, the ones I've been working with today. That's because I'm working on my own computer and that when it gets shut down, nothing gets erased. If you're working on computers on campus in the computer labs, it's not going to save this information about recently opened sites. So each time you work on your site, you will have to manage the site, tell Dreamweaver where it's located. For that, we would go down to Import Site here, and we would just go to whatever folder held our website. In this case, it's on my desktop. It's just the folder called website that has these 3 other folders in it. Okay? So you could go ahead and do that every time you manage your website, and your new site will be there. That's a little bit about Dreamweaver and HTML. We'll see you in class on Monday or Wednesday.